Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. So this video is basically about 10 items I recently sold on eBay. So I'm going to just run you through what I paid for them and obviously what they sold for. If you looked at my previous videos, you would have seen when I picked them up. Okay, so the first item is a mortise gorge, which you see here. It's a tool. So it's ebony, wood and brass. So I paid £15 for this, which is, again, I thought it was worth it because it's a high quality item. As you can see, it's beautiful, Victorian, dates to the 1800s, so mid 1800s. Now, this is what it sold for on eBay. Okay, so the profit was not good. Okay, so I know for next time, £5 to £10 when I'm buying one of these, okay, because I have seen more of them, and they're usually, again, £15 to £20. Now I know what they sell for. It's good to get that idea, okay? Now, so in case you're wondering, they're used for marking wood. Carpenters use them for marking wood, okay? So next we have a wooden brass level, okay? Also ebony, wood and brass. This is a very rare one, so it was £10. That was a bargain. It needed polishing and cleaning up. And now you can see what it sold for on eBay. And again, when you're buying levels, just check the bubbles, the actual glass little bubbles, to make sure they're not broken and that they work, obviously, when you pay for them. Especially these ones where they have two. Make sure that both are fine. If one's broken, it's very difficult to repair it, okay? So anyway, that's that. Let's go on to the next item. This multi-tool, a Victorian multi-tool. So this cost me £3, right? I've seen them on eBay. They sell for what basically I sold it for, okay? So I paid £3 for this. If you see them, get them, because they sell well. You'll have to likely clean them up, okay? Which helps, because when it's dirty and you clean it up, obviously it gets more money. If you buy it cleaned up, people tend to charge more money for them at the markets. So like I say, I paid £3. This is what it sold for on eBay. And I really do think, if you can, look for them and just check that they're complete, that they've got most of the tool bits that go in the handle. Now, next we have this sewing box, okay? So if you'd watched my previous videos, you would have seen when I bought this, and I paid about £10 for it. This is what it sold for on eBay. So that's pretty good, pretty cool. Next we have this naval boarding pike head, okay? So I paid £10 for this as part of a job lot of rusted items. That's what it sold for on eBay. Again, it's quite a rare item. If you can spot one, if you see one, good for you, because they're quite rare. I picked it up locally because there's a lot of nautical history here, naval history. So luckily for me, it came up here. I could get it. Okay. Next we have this cowbone whale. So it's cowbone, not ivory, so it's perfectly fine to sell on eBay. And I paid £3 for it. It's about 4 inches long in length, made by a sailor in the Victorian times as a charm. And that's what it sold for on eBay, okay? The next item is also a charm, but it's a harpoon. Again, about 4 or 5 inches long, a little bit longer than the whale. I paid £3 for it. It's made from cowbone again, so it's totally fine to sell on eBay. It's not whalebone or ivory, which is banned. Cowbone is perfectly fine. It's totally fine to sell on eBay. And yeah, that's what it sold for on eBay. Okay, so that's quite cool. Next, we have a hammer, a very old hammer. So I'd say this dates to the 1700s at least. It could be a bit older. Okay, now it's got a very nicely shaped handle. I paid £10 for this. If you saw my previous videos, you would have seen it. And that's what it sold for on eBay. And if you watched my video on Sunday, I picked up a hammer, a similar one in a way, but the handle's a bit different, but it's strapped. Also 1700s. Cost me £1.50. Okay, so if you look at my Sunday, there was a massive haul of items. If you check it out, you'll see when I picked that up, and it's in its rusted, unclean state, which is what you want. for reselling, to clean it up obviously and put it on. Next is this boat hook, a naval boat hook. So this boat hook cost me about £10. It was part of a job lot of rusted items. If I remember, it came out of a basement. And it came to about £10 because it was a whole job lot of items. And that's what it sold for on eBay. So that's pretty cool. And then, the last thing, which I'm about to tell you now, made the most profit out of all the items, okay? So here we have a cowbone pie crimper. Totally made from cowbone, made by a sailor in the Victorian times. About 5 inches in length, just to let you know. And see, that cost me £15. Again, a previous video will show when I bought it and what I paid for it, okay? So if you come up to Edinburgh, look out for these kind of things, and also at any markets in the UK, because obviously there's a lot of naval history in the UK. But again, this is cowbone. Just be careful that you don't touch ivory. Ivory is totally banned, and whalebone is totally banned. And this is cowbone. It's perfectly safe to touch and sell, okay, on eBay. The difference between whalebone, just to let you know, and cowbone is that whalebone tends to have lots of those little black dots that you find from the veins, the tiny little veins, that the blood vessels that go into the marrow, okay? So the whalebone is covered in them completely. There's no spaces where there's none, okay? It's totally covered. Cowbone has white areas, and suddenly then it has little black areas. So that's the difference between cowbone and whalebone. Like I say, whalebone you can't sell at all on eBay. Cowbone is fine, totally legal, totally fine, okay? So basically, this is what it sold for on eBay, okay? So I'm quite happy with that. And so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. And there will be some more videos this week, no doubt. And especially on Sunday, again, when I pick up a lot more items at the market, the big market down at the docks. Also, I'll go to a couple of times down to the thrift stores, charity shops, looking for bits. And again, I'll never know what I'm going to pick up. But again, thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your week. And thanks again for watching.